Hello, good evening and welcome to Prime Business. I am Pius Kojobaka. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana has kicked strongly against any move by transport operators to increase commercial fares by 20% this Friday. COPEC argues that there is no justification for an increase in transport fares based on its research and engagement with stakeholders. Dan Kanamwa is the Executive Secretary of COPEC.
I will be surprised that we allow a section of the driving public to take all of us on a bad ride. If that happens, you are simply telling the Aboso spare parts people to also go and increase the cost of parts, even without justification. We are equally telling the oil marketing companies to simply charge whatever they want. Mind you, they are also in a deregulated environment, which allows them to price as they wish. And so if we allow this to go, we are simply creating not only chaos, but we are derailing the entire system for the selfish benefit of a few who think that, of course, because they were not consulted or asked any questions in the introduction of the One Ghana levy, which legitimately they should have been consulted. I agree, because they were not consulted, so they also feel that they should come and, inconvenience the system. That I cannot see any justification for. The numbers do not support this decision, and I think that it is only fair and proper that they withdraw the decision completely.
The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama, is calling on banks to revise their lending models to provide stronger support for the private sector. His appeal follows the central bank's decision to cut the policy rate by 300 basis points from 28 to 25%, a move aimed at easing credit conditions and stimulating economic growth. Dr. Esiama made the call while speaking at the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana's post-MPC roundtable discussion. More in this report.
The governor of the Bank of Ghana at the event highlighted the need for financial institutions to align their strategies with the Bank of Ghana's broader effort to create a more resilient and inclusive financial system.
Are they prepared to look away from the T-bills? Are they prepared to look away from the high Bank of Ghana instruments and their high interest rates? The era of high interest rates and passive investment by banks in government securities is ending. Banks must now begin to reimagine their business models, refocusing on intermediation, on innovation, and on credit expansion to productive sectors. With inflation decelerating and rates on a downward path, there is a unique opportunity to support private sector growth, to support SMEs, to support agriculture, and above all, to support green financing.
Speaking to Joy Business on the sidelines of the event, Chief Executive of the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, Robert Jatto, reiterated the importance of providing robust support to banks to enable them fully play their role in national development.
In terms of what banks should do, I think the starting point really is developing the necessary competencies in managing risk. And that's very, very important because the business of banking is actually risk management wrapped up in customer centricity and some innovative solutions. And therefore, understanding the risk that banks face within the economic context, within the industry context, will be very, very important. But building capacity and building competencies will be very, very important. In my view, from the Institute's perspective, it will be building character, which is the ethics of bankers and banks, but also the competence, which is the competence, the ability for banks and the skill set that they require to develop to be able to assess those credit risks in a proper manner, and even more importantly, complying with the rules.
The roundtable discussion was under the theme Monetary Policy in Action, how NPC decisions shape Ghana's economy and financial sector.
A while longer, the central bank, because Governor Dr. Johnson Esiama has expressed optimism about the current stability of the cedi against major global currencies, attributing it to the central bank's policy framework. Speaking at the inaugural address of the Bank of Ghana Chair in Finance and Economics in Accra, Dr. Esiama emphasized that the regulator will work to prevent excessive volatilities in the currency in order to safeguard the economy and external shocks.
We are using a managed floating framework, and under managed floats, at least the currency must move, isn't it? It is different from a fixed exchange rate. But there's this interesting phenomenon in Ghana which we really need to work to change. When the currency moves in one direction, everybody moves with it. The moment the cedi gets to 10.7 tomorrow, everybody says then it's going back to 15.0. And I ask why. The exchange rate, we keep saying, is an endogenous variable, particularly under the framework that we are working with. And so the cedi, dollar rate must move on a daily basis. It must move. A colleague gave the example that he was in a queue in South Africa to change some dollars. They were in a queue. And right when he was in the queue, they were told the exchange rate had moved. And that's the beauty of it. But in Ghana, let the exchange rate move in a day. There's total news all over the country why the cedi has moved. And yet the cedi must move. When the exchange rate is flexible, it protects the economy against shocks. And so must it be. Our preoccupation is to ensure that those movements are not excessive. And that is what we commit to do. We do not target any band. We do not target any fixed level. Our objective is to ensure, and let me emphasize, that we do not have movements that are excessive.
Away from the central bank this evening, 100,000 to 150,000 jobs are expected to be created by the end of 2025. And that's according to the Minister for Youth Development and Employment, George Opariado. And he disclosed this at Government's Accountability Series.
Yes, we have assessed the data. At the time we assumed office, we knew that the unemployment rate stood at 14.8%. Out of that, about 20+% were within young people. And we also looked at the not in training, not in employment, and not in education bracket, which is of critical concern to the ministry. That is why we are deploying the Jumera program and then the National Apprenticeship program. Because one of the biggest things we saw is that skills deficit was one of the major challenges. And a lot of these young people did not have the right and requisite skills to be able to put to use. And so we are working with that figure in mind. We are not able to give you an assessment of how many jobs we have created. It's early days yet, because our programs are still rolling out. But I believe strongly that by the end of this year, when I get my opportunity again at this room or on this platform, we'll be able to give you specifics, how many people we've put to work and how many we intend to put to work in the subsequent years. By going by the numbers that I listed out here, clearly by the end of this year, all things being equal, between 100 and 150,000 young people should be put to work. Under Jumera, we are targeting to do 500,000. Under National Apprenticeship, we are targeting to do 500,000 over a period of 4 years. And then the YA models, the national service models, give or take, by the end of the 4 years of His Excellency President Mahama, direct and indirect jobs should be close to 1.5 to 2 million. But we'll be able to give you a fair assessment when we are done with our stewardship and we are accounting again to the good people of this country.
All right, let's analyze this. Joining us via Zoom is Sheriff Gali, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs. Sheriff, thank you so much and good to see you. Now, how feasible is this projection by the Minister?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. So, if you look at what the Minister said about creating of job using two major institutions, so that's three, the National Youth Authority, the NEIP and that of YU. It looks a bit more feasible, let me put it that way. However, my problem has always been the time of releasing support, because if you've been following this current government and some of their latest projects or programs, or call them the flagship programs like Ejumawura, like the National Apprenticeship Program, they were all launched in the early days of this year. And up till now, we only heard that monies has been released for the implementation of this program just some few weeks ago. And you would realize that, for example, let's pick Ejumawura. Ejumawura is supposed to train 10,000 youth and give some sort of grant or funding to 2,000 out of this 10,000. And that is for this year. And we are yet to even do that. We are yet to roll out that. So you would realize that sometimes government have very hefty target, but the timeliness is what is my big issue. If we start, let's say the year started, we are able to have allocations out there, we'll be able to achieve these numbers. But if you want to train 10,000 and you are starting now, you look at the timing that it will not be so efficient, and so you may not be able to do the needed number. The same thing happens to the National Apprenticeship Program. If you look at the target number and when it's all rolling up, it doesn't look like this year we may achieve that target. But let's hope and see, because these are very good programs that for me I support, and I'm happy we'll follow together with all of you to see whether we really will do the numbers we are talking about. And this time around, we are saying that just don't come and mention numbers. We are going to really follow through and ensure that we are able to collectively deliver the numbers we are mentioning. But it's something we can really achieve. Just that going forward, the central government, especially Ministry of Finance, should be more adept in releasing funding for such flagship program. It has always been a big issue when it comes to youth issues. We promise the youth flagship programs, but we delay in releasing funding, and sometimes even under finance most of the agencies that are serving youth, which is so disappointing. Yeah.
We ensured, well, that youth-led initiatives birth unicorns or scalable companies, really.
Come again, I didn't hear that.
I'm asking that, how can we ensure that youth-led initiatives, birth scalable or companies, basically?
So we have to be a bit more deliberate and stop spreading our meager resources on every youth. You see, one thing I like about the Ejumawara, if only we are going to implement it like that, is that we want to train 10,000 youth on entrepreneurship. That is a national agenda. Every year, 10,000 youth. But you see, we are not going to give the funding or the grant to all 10,000. You have only 100 million for this project, according to this government. And so I'm happy when I heard that we're going to train 10,000 and only give 2,000. Even for me, I think the 2,000 is way too big. Because how much are you going to use to train this youth out of the 100 million? And how much are you to even give to this business? So if we are serious as a state about birthing unicorns from youth-owned enterprises, then we need to be deliberate and focus investment. So we pick few young businesses that are doing well with real business. I'm not talking about the overnight entrepreneurs and all of those businesses of you that are doing well, and categorically invest in them. Becoming a unicorn is not just a one-day thing. It has to be deliberate. You need a lot of funding to make sure a company that is just a small business become a unicorn, like compared to the Facebook, the Meta company, which is now a unicorn, and the rest. So when you are thinking of unicorn, think of a Meta company that owns Facebook. How do we get a young business in Ghana to become like that? That means that we need to be a bit more deliberate. So sometimes you have meager resources, you want to do a lot of numbers because of political, advantage, and that has been a bigger issue. So let us focus. It's not about the numbers, it's about the impact we are creating. Even if it is 5 companies, focus and build, and that is one of the surest way we can get unicorns out of the Ghanaian youth.
Chief Executive of the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, Sherry Gali, thank you so much for joining us here on Prime Business. Grateful. Now, South Africa's largest grocery retailer, Shopright Holdings, has announced plans to sell its operations in Ghana and Malawi, a move that has raised concerns over potential market monopolies. Speaking to Joy Business, West Africa Regional Director for CATS International, Apia Kusi Adumako, warned that the exit could strengthen the dominance of retailers like Melcom. He urged the government to play an active role in the acquisition of Shopright's assets to safeguard fair competition in the retail space.
I think that the presence of Shopright into the Ghanaian market gave Ghanaian consumers a lot of options whenever they go to shop. You know, probably before 2022 October, we had another giant called Game that also left the market. Now, when Game left the market, it also this company, Melcom, has acquired most of Game's space in the malls. Now, Shopright is also leaving, and we don't know which company has expressed interest in acquiring the stake of Shopright in the country. But for me, I'm very much concerned not about the exit of the firm in the market, in the Ghanaian market, but what could be its impact on pricing. Now, we've realized that the Melcom has become the biggest retail supermarket in the country. If Melcom, for example, acquires the shares of the asset of Melcom of Shopright, what it means is that it's going to solidify Melcom's gain and create a kind of a giant monopoly or a dominant in the retail market. And when a firm is a monopoly, it can decide to price anyhow. And we've seen how firms that are monopoly or giant or dominant in the country, how their size has also become a barrier to entry, that people don't find it economically viable to enter into the market. So for me, I think that government needs to look at who is going to buy this firm. When you look at the Reuters story, Shopright is leaving Ghana and Malawi. In Malawi, the purchase is subject to an approval by the competition authority in Malawi.
Chinese ambassador to Ghana, Tong Defang, has cautioned against the use of tariffs as a tool in global trade negotiations, describing it as counterproductive. His remarks follows the recent decision by the U.S. state to impose tariffs on several countries, including Ghana. In an interview with Joy Business, Ambassador Defang reaffirmed China's commitment to open and free trade, particularly with African nations.
It's a little bit tendency of global, economically protectionism, and some countries imposing tariffs for all other countries. I know, like the United States adding 15% tariffs to Ghana. China believes that using tariffs as a weapon doesn't help. And world is needing, all the countries to work together, according to the WTO rules and regulations. It helps all countries to develop. So China, on the other hand, on the country, China is offering zero tariffs to all 53 countries who have diplomatic ties with China, and we believe it's helps. Not only it benefits both sides. We want to achieve win-win cooperation. And during last FOCOC summit in Beijing, China and Africa focusing on industrialization and agri-modernization. So offering zero tariffs, we believe it can help African countries to boost its own economy. Now China and Ghana is the two government agencies talking about the detailed arrangement. We already signed a framework MOU for the arrangement, but now the two governments are quickening the steps to talk about how to implement these zero tariff policies.
The Ghana Revenue Authority has reaffirmed its commitment to community welfare through its second corporate social responsibility donation initiative of the year at the Aplaku Medical Center. More in this report.
The second Corporate Social Responsibility Act forms part of GRA's ongoing efforts to support the well-being of Ghanaians, especially taxpayers in underserved communities. Speaking at the event, Director for the Accra West area of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anna Maria Etia, emphasized that the authority's mandate goes beyond tax collection.
We chose Aplaku because when we came to Aplaku, we realized that the state of Aplaku Community Hospital wasn't the best. So management supported us with something, and then the staff of the area also contributed, and we managed, and customs also contributed, and that is why we are here today to donate the chairs, the bed, the air conditioners, the Veronica buckets, the tea rolls, and all the things you see behind us, just to make sure that the people in the community are healthy, so that they can work assiduously, improve the economy of the area, and obviously translate into taxes for GRA.
Revenue Officer at Jamestown, Isaac Dramina, also expressed satisfaction in being part of the initiative.
I feel happy, I feel great, because we all contributed to make this place, bring these items here for the benefit of the people in the area. So at least we have put a smile on the indigenous in this area when they come to the hospital. When I came around, I look at one of the facilities, there were no chairs. So with these chairs, at least they can feel comfortable.
Receiving the items on behalf of the facility, senior physician at the Aplaku Medical Center, Dr. Isaac Alote Ado, expressed deep appreciation to the Ghana Revenue Authority for what he described as a timely and impactful act of service.
On behalf of the Municipal Health Director and the management of Aplaku Health Center and the staff and the community, we want to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for this item that has been given to us. We want to assure you that whatever has been given here will go a long way, because we've been in dire need of these things, but then you've been able to support us and also continue with our services. Aplaku Health Center doesn't render only services in the facility, but as well as in the community. We have the public health nurses, the community health nurses. They also go for outreaches, immunize children and all that. So we are most grateful for all these items that has been given to us. And as the saying, we'll never ask for more. As when we need, we always call on to you.
The Corporate Social Responsibility Act is one of many community-centered activities being rolled out by the Ghana Revenue Authority to strengthen its relationship with the public and enhance the social value of taxation.
Finally, before we go, MTN Ghana, in partnership with Absa Bank and Nova Business School Africa, has launched the MTN SME Accelerate Mini MBA training. And this program is designed to empower small and medium enterprises to thrive and become more sustainable. More in this report. I am Pius Kojobaka. Do enjoy.
Launch and first lecture of this partnership will equip 50 selected small and medium-sized enterprises with the skills and knowledge needed to compete in Ghana's business landscape. The training will run for 13 weeks. Speaking on behalf of MTN's Chief Executive, Senior Manager for Enterprise Business at MTN, Benedict Bento, reaffirmed the company's commitment to supporting SME growth and encouraged participants to engage fully with the program.
Participants will engage in full-day hands-on sessions across 4 critical pillars: strategic growth, financial advisory services, business development, and operational excellence. This is MTN walking the talk, fulfilling our promise to walk with you and do the real work of building and scaling your business. To all the CEOs and business leaders here today, we are honored to invest in your growth, and we encourage you to take full advantage of this opportunity. Engage deeply, collaborate with your peers, challenge your thinking, and make the most of the expert guidance and networks available to you.
Also at the event, Head of Agribusiness at Absa Bank, William Nete, highlighted the importance of building resilient businesses that can endure over time. He expressed confidence that the training will help participants create enterprises that outlive their founders.
For the businesses, we want to see that their businesses become sustainable. We don't want businesses that start in 5 years, as is said, and the statistics show they fall off because they have not done the right things. We want businesses to develop themselves, increase their knowledge in business, in all the aspects of businesses, so that they are able to develop and then create the opportunities for others to come in. We want to see businesses live well beyond the times that they were set up.
Professor Matthew Chameyi, President and CEO of Nova Business School Africa, underscored the program's emphasis on mindset transformation and robust business structures.
If you ask SMEs, their number one challenge, they all tell you is money. But we believe it's actually beyond money, because if you get money at the wrong time, if you get money and you don't have the proper structure, you don't have the proper framework, proper attitude, you will actually waste the money. So I think for us the beginning is a mindset thing. So we help them build structures, but it's also a complete mindset shift. And that's why the program is about transformation. So we're coming in here to then bring the SMEs, first of all, onto a platform that they'll be able to partner and network with each other, and then bring other people in our network together.
The MTN SME Accelerate Mini MBA forms part of MTN's broader effort to empower Ghana's SME and drive inclusive economic development.